Hey, what is up, guys? Just wanted to make one more video. This will probably be the last video that I make for the semester. I'm gonna make this video for all three of my Los Angeles Community College District classes. All of you guys are on are doing American government, but some of you guys are at different portions. Some of you were. I had you since January the 1st, which seems like a long time ago because the world was a very different place on January the 1st, right? And then there's some of you where I didn't get until like a few weeks ago, like 8 weeks, 10 weeks. So um, we're all caught up though. So the 18-week class, the two 8 and 10-week classes, everybody's caught up with each other. So all of your assignments are the same. The ones that were affected by COVID, you guys got extensions on a lot of different things. The ones of you that started the class after COVID, everything was done expeditiously. You guys did a great job with those assignments. So I'm getting a lot of emails about the discussions this week. So I'm gonna respond to certain discussion posts probably this weekend because I think it's important that I do. I haven't had the time to because I've been running around all day. Like even right now, like I said, I haven't taken my vitamin D yet today. So I have been very, very lethargic, very tired, and lackadaisical. But we'll do the best we could. So the first one I'm going to talk to you guys about is the "You Ain't Black" discussion. And I ask you, um, if you've watched the news like myself, you would know that Joe Biden had an interview with the Breakfast Club's Charlemagne the God. The interview was going well. I'm not usually a fan of how Charlemagne does interviews, but Charlemagne really did do a good job with this interview. I was actually quite impressed because usually in the past he's done that shock jock stuff where he's just trying to kind of get a reaction out of people, and he was real respectful to Joe Biden. But then at the end of the interview, Joe Biden says, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black," and it seemed like it was in passing jest. I didn't get that offended by it. I was offended in the sense that I don't want not just white people, but I just don't want anybody to think that anything about one race of people and just stereotype them in one group and think the whole race thinks like a certain way. There is consensus thoughts amongst people, but we are everybody, not just black people. I'm talking everybody. We're all there's a diverse array of thought. We're none of us are monolithic. Even the people that agree with each other politically, there's still going to be differences in infighting within those groups, right? So anyway, a lot of you guys wanted to know if I was offended by Joe Biden's comments. Again, I was I don't like that way of thinking, but this is kind of that line of thinking is what I expect from old white guys. I've been in situations where I've been with because one of the things I do outside of teaching is manage campaigns. And I've heard old white guys say that in joking fashions and, just kind of laugh it off and stuff. And then you might even joke back with them. But, you can't be making mistakes like that on the campaign trail. So one of the things I asked you was, let me see, do you think that Biden has an obligation to pick a black woman as his running mate? Or do you think that his team should make their decision once the dust settles for those comments. So the dust is settled for those comments. I swear to you, the dust is settled for those comments. Uh, we've had like nationwide, worldwide riots since Biden has said this stuff. So in journalism, you're only news until you're not news anymore, right? So that got picked up a lot of steam. And then uh, George Floyd, unfortunately, was murdered at the hands of that police officer. And then all hell broke loose across the country. And in LA, there's been every night for like the last 10 or 11 nights there have been protesting. I'm not sure what the protest scene is going to look like tonight. Again, if you plan on doing that, be safe. But yeah, so that as far as if I think he needs to pick a black woman, I don't think he has to pick a black woman. I do think he should pick a black woman. Any kind of minority, but specifically a black woman, because I think when he said what he said, it did cause a lot of people in the black community to not be excited about voting for Joe Biden. Now, granted, I do think blacks, if the choice is Trump and Biden, of course you're gonna vote for Biden, but not everyone's probably thinking like that. There's a lot of people who are kind of disenfranchised with politics and, just don't like the process at all, and see Joe Biden is just another old politician in the catalog, in a long catalog of all old politicians that are out of touch and don't know how to talk to young people and don't know how to talk to black people. That happens, right? So I think to be safe, Biden should pick a black woman as his running mate. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. Joe Biden could pick Lady fucking Gaga as his running mate, and I'll still vote for him. I just don't like what's going on in the country right now. So yeah, me personally, I'm voting for Biden no matter what. Others might not feel that exact same way, and I respect it if you don't. Do you think Biden will lose voters as a result of these comments, or do you think that people who already hate him still hate him, and people who already like him will still like him? So I do kind of think the latter. I think that the people who hate Biden already, those comments gave them another reason to hate Biden. If you already like Biden or you were already leaning towards Biden, I don't see a scenario where those comments in particular are going to cause you to not vote for him. Although I wouldn't be surprised if some people, like, I haven't been out on the streets lately because I'm quarantining, but I wouldn't be surprised if people said, some people were like, hey, I just don't feel good voting for Biden after those comments, especially if they're black. And that's kind of the reason why I think he should probably pick a black female running mate. But again, if he could pick Sarah Palin, and I'd vote for Biden. I do not care. I don't think a political science professor is necessarily supposed to say that to students. I just do not care. Okay. Let me see. It has been said several times that the Democrats often take the black and brown vote for granted. Are Biden's comments a reflection of this? Yes, they are. Because I do think that Democrats get into this kind of familiarity and this comfortability with blacks, browns, Asians, all kinds of minorities. They kind of get comfortable and think that they just have those votes in the bag. And this year in particular, it's very imperative that we let these politicians know that, hey, we'll vote for you, but once we vote for you, we are going to need you to do this for us or that for us. Whatever your interest is how you should kind of frame your vote towards these politicians. I encourage everybody in the classes, and all my classes, to get as active as you can, and to just understand that your vote is a very powerful thing, and it's not something to be taken for granted. Um, and that was probably the most problematic part of Joe Biden's statement. Like, not the race stuff was whatever, I expect that, but the fact that he thinks that, you know, a race has an obligation to vote for him because if you don't, then you are not whatever race you are. That is just not fundamentally not true. But again, I don't know if he necessarily meant that seriously. In the past, Donald Trump has condemned Jewish people who do not vote for him since he supports Israel. Should politicians just be expect people of a particular ethnic origin to support them? And again, I kind of already answered that question, but absolutely not. You shouldn't be expecting that. In my opinion, you should make sure that they come out to vote for you. Don't take those people for granted. Even if it's kind of in the bag that they're going to vote for you, you still want to make sure that they come out and do it. Okay, so let me go to the other discussion. This iPad has been giving me issues all day, but I believe the other discussion is about church, right? Take me to church. Okay. So last week, Donald Trump demanded state governors reopen churches and other places of worship in the this past Sunday. So that was like a couple weeks ago. I posted this on May 26th. It's a long question. It's so weird reading this now, because even on May the 26th, which was only like a week or so ago, the world was a totally, completely different place. So, do you go to church or any other place of worship? And if so, how are you going to go about worshiping in the era of COVID-19? I got some very good answers to this question and to the last post, but I do want to get in and kind of comment on these, because these were lengthy posts, kind of the most lengthy, detailed posts I've gotten all semester from you guys. And this is in all three classes. There wasn't one person in any of the discussions that did like, maybe there was one or two people, but for the most part, everybody gave thoughtful, eloquent posts. So I appreciate that. As for me, I am kind of an agnostic Christian, if that makes sense. It sounds kind of oxymoronic, but I do believe in God. I don't necessarily believe in church as much as I used to, so I don't go anymore. There is a church that I used to go to that I do like donate money and stuff like that and help them volunteer. But as far as like going there to worship every Sunday, it's just not something that I do anymore. And maybe I probably should, maybe I shouldn't, but I think, you know, it's on church leaders to kind of, you know, show us what we're doing and what they're doing in the community and all this other stuff. So, do you think church is an essential business? Make no mistake, the operative word is business. And church is a business. Is it an essential business, though? So this is where the conflict comes from with this discussion, right? Church is a business. you know, and they get a lot of tax exempt stuff as well. But a lot of churches took advantage of small business loans during this COVID-19 era. So a lot of them who are asking for, you know, to still want to be open, I do think it's kind of like conflicting to still want to be open, but still collect money from the government. I think that's a problem. I think Donald Trump saying, you know, comparing what the church does, and saying if liquor stores and abortion clinics can be open, why can't the church be open? I don't think that's a fair comparison at all, because like a lot of you notated in the discussion, Planned Parenthood and places like that, they're not just there to help with abortions. A lot of times they'll even help a girl if they don't want to have an abortion, put the kid up for adoption and things of that nature. And, you know, they do a lot of other life-saving stuff at Planned Parenthood. You know, it's not just this abortion haven that a lot of the news have like kind of called it. So I agree with you guys on that. Let me see. The ones of you who said that. Do you think, let me see, is Trump right when he says that if liquor stores? So I kind of answered that as well. So I wanted to get through that because, yeah, those are, and I think it's important for you guys to kind of understand where I'm coming from. I don't ever want you guys to feel obligated to think the way that I think. Political science, any social science, whether it be history, sociology, psychology, political science, communications, whatever, you always have to kind of make sure you're doing your own thinking, and you're doing your own reading, and you're doing your own research. And that's kind of hard to do in this era because you're always getting content thrown at you on a day-to-day basis. But reading is fundamental, to sound cliche and stereotypical, but reading is fundamental. Read the newspaper. Don't just watch news on television. Read the newspaper. Read a lot of books, and make sure you're forming your opinion. Take in opposing sides. Take in that information and juxtapose what you learn on Fox News to what you're reading in books, and determine whatever makes the most sense with you, or whatever makes the most sense to you. So, again, this was a great semester with you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the compliments that I got on the last discussion post. And thank you for the ones of you that weren't that complimentary to me, you know, because I learned from everything. And, you know, this is a journey. Journey is life, and we're all on it together in many different ways. So some of you I will never meet in person in life. Some of you will never meet me, or you won't meet each other in person. But this was a very important chapter in my life, and I look forward to closing the book on it this Sunday, with everybody in the class hopefully getting the grade that they worked so hard for. And I will see you around the way. And if you see me ever on the streets or anything, I'm always in the Bay. Not so much. I used to be in the South Bay a lot more, but I'm in Pasadena all the time. That's where I live. I'm in downtown LA. If you see me, come up and say, "Hey, Ely, I took your class," and you know I would greatly appreciate that. Okay. Thanks for the love, you guys. Peace.